Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George, or all George. So, welcome to another morning market open, and the market is green. Yes, everything is green right now. The U.S. stock market, crypto market, Bitcoin, everything is in green. So what's changed? Well, let's talk about what's going on today. We seem to have a lot of drivers today, so let's get to it. Smash up the like, subscribe to the channel, follow me on social media, and check out all the latest news article and guides at CryptosRUs.com. Welcome everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right, let's look at it. So we're like 12 minutes from market open, but you could see the Dow future, S&P future, NASDAQ future, all up. But I don't know if you guys have noticed recently, NASDAQ is starting to lead again. Yesterday, NASDAQ was leading. Today, NASDAQ leading. Why? Well, all the money that's sitting on the sidelines from all the panic selling that happened, right? That money is coming back in. That's exactly what's happening. Tech was the most oversold sector, and now it's the one that's recovering the most. It makes sense, right? And it's the same thing with crypto, though crypto is a little different beast. Bitcoin is up 4% right now from yesterday. 44,400. It's trying to get back to this 45.6 mark that we hit a week ago, but we are starting to slowly stair step up. And entire crypto market is doing good today. It's doing good. All right, so there's several things that's driving today's movement. I don't know how to get started because there's just a lot. Let's start with the Fed news or some economic reports. Wholesale prices rise 1% in January, up 9.7% over the past year. This is a PPI, or Producer Price Index. And what this is really saying is this. Price of goods have gone up. That's basically what it's saying. This is excluding food, energy, and trade, but literally everything is going up. 9.7%, so in a way, this is even higher than CPI, right? So all this is doing is basically measuring inflation. Now, a lot of this is due to supply chain constraints and the problems we're seeing with supply chain, right? Here's the thing though, even though this number is so high and so horrendous at this point, traders have literally priced this in already. They're looking at this and they're like, okay, yes, we know last year was bad, and the last few months were horrendous. However, we may be coming to a top. The inflation can't keep going up. Price of goods can't keep going up like this forever. So we're probably approaching the top. We're getting there. If we're not there already, we're getting there. So it's going to taper out, right? And that is exactly what people are thinking right now, especially Wall Street and traders, because they're like, well, the Fed is going to start raising rates soon, right? So they're going to use whatever tools they have to try to curb this inflation that we're seeing right now. But if we're close to the top or we're near top, you know what? Then we're going to start coming down. So this could be the top already. That is why this is actually really bad news. I mean, normally this would be on the top of CNBC, and this will say, oh, futures down 400 points due to PPI numbers. I mean, this normally should be bad news, but it's turned out to be, it's not good news, but it's making the market basically react in a positive way because the market thinks that we're near the top. That this can't keep going up and up and up forever. And of course, we have CPI numbers that is coming soon that will give us a better, I guess, overall gauge on inflation. But this is also another way to measure it. So now, with that said, I was looking at this, right? So the probability of the rate hike that's coming in March So it was at like 90-something% for 50 basis points. Now it has dropped where people are saying, okay, no, it's not going to be 50 basis points. Now about 40% of people think that it's going to be 25 basis points, which is 0.25%. And then 62% think it's 50 basis points. So that actually dropped. But I think at this point, again, the market's already priced this in. Market's like, okay, even if it's 50 basis points, so what? Right? Everything is still healthy. The economy is still healthy. The labor force, is healthy. Inflation is go taper off, right? So what? So again, even though this number has come down in terms of percentage, traders are just shrugging this off now, right? So bottom line is, come next month when Chair Powell and his buddies get together and decide on how hawkish they want to be, and the rate hikes that are coming, the number and the percentage. Right now, it seems like it's all priced in, unless he comes out super, super, super hawkish, more hawkish than anticipated. This is looking pretty good, at least right now. So, okay, so that's number one for today. So this is definitely having an effect on the market. So there's that. What else is there? I saw, of course, this. Of course, is tension with Russia seems to be calming down too. So it looks like Russia is removing some of their troops around Ukraine. They said, at least according to the reporters that are reporting this, that some of these troops were just conducting drills, and now they're done with those drills, so they're leaving. However, there's still a lot of troops there, and but it does seem like this escalation, I guess, has calmed down a little bit, right? So of course, Wall Street traders are also reacting to this. Because of course this is good. This is good overall, but some are questioning whether or not this is real at all. Or maybe it's just a test, or it's just media trying to drive up FUD right now, right? There's a lot of talks about what's actually really happening here. But I was watching CNBC right before this, and Jim Cramer actually had a good thought around this. Basically, he thinks that world leaders like Putin and Xi from China, basically, they're testing Biden. They're testing him right now. And they're seeing what he's going to do if either one wants to invade a country. Because, of course, there's talks about China wanting to invade Taiwan, right? And right now it's like, okay, if Russia wants to take over Ukraine, first of all, see what Biden does, right? And basically China's backing off of this. And if the reverse happens, if China then declares that they want to take over Taiwan, then they're going to see what Biden does, and Russia's go back off. So it's like, yeah, I don't know if that's what's really happening, but it's an interesting thought. Maybe. But anyways, looks like it's de-escalating. So it's actually good for the market. It's very good for the market. All right, so we have 4 minutes before market open. Everything is still in the green right now, so looking pretty positive. And last night, I did have a stream, and I talked about this, which is not good, obviously, but I do think this also had a big impact on Bitcoin's sudden reversal last night, where it was flat, and all of a sudden it started moving up, right? And I think a lot of you guys know about this. Basically, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is basically invoking Emergencies Act, which to me, it just seems like it's more like martial law. Basically, with the Emergencies Act, they are taking citizens' freedom away to assemble, and basically, this is in response to the truckers, and they're taking that freedom away, and they're also going to be monitoring crowdfunding sources to make sure that funding does not go to them from from these crowd sources, crowdfunding, I don't know, whatever crowdfunding platform they may be using. So they're looking at that. So basically, this is not good overall. And my mistake. Last night I said it was over the mask mandate, but it's actually over the vaccine update or mandate. But I do think that because of this stance, a lot of people started to understand Bitcoin, to buy a Bitcoin, right? Because Bitcoin is on a payment network that is not controlled by anyone. And you don't have anyone saying, no, you can't use this. Or you don't have anyone saying, oh, I'm going to stop you from sending payments or receiving payments. Anyone could literally download a wallet on their phone in seconds and start sending and receiving payments with Bitcoin and other crypto, right? So I do think when this came out last night, it definitely drove Bitcoin up. So there was some correlation there, right? So this is still an ongoing thing right now. So you have three big things that's going on right now. From an economic standpoint, PPI numbers, although it sucks, it's really high. We do have traders, Wall Street, that's thinking, okay, with numbers this high for goods, we must be coming to an end. Even if we're not at the top, we must be coming close to it. We can't have this keep going forever. Supply chain will get better, right? All the constraints that we're seeing has to get better. So that's number one, right? And in terms of rate hike, it does seem like many think that we're going to go down, that we're going to actually come down from the 50 basis points, even though at this point, even if it is 50 basis points, people have just basically priced it in. I mean, even the most aggressive, Fed, Bullard says that, the U.S. government, Powell needs to raise basis points by 1% by July, and maybe, even 2% by the end of the year. But at this point, it's kind of like being priced in already. So it's no longer an issue unless everyone's wrong and inflation just keeps going up and up and up and up, and this is nowhere near the top and it keeps going up. Unless that happens, well, then it's a different story. So we had that this morning. That's helping. Russia withdrawing some of the troops from the borders. Whether this is all a test or not, that's helping the markets. So that's pretty good. And then, of course, what's helping Bitcoin's case right now, improving one of the use cases for Bitcoin, Canada, what's going on there with the Emergencies Act, that's also helping. So you have a lot of good news today, you can see. This is why everything is up. The market's opening right now. And I'm pretty sure they're still going to be in the green. Yes, NASDAQ still leading the way at 1.5%. You have the entire crypto market still going up. So things are looking pretty good right now. Good morning, everyone. Good morning for everyone tuning in. Now, there are a few other things I want to mention. I did see this, and this is quite interesting. This is a crypto thing. I saw MoneyGram is being taken over. Oh, not that. There we go. MoneyGram is being taken over by Madison Dearborn, valued at $1.8 billion. So MoneyGram stock is skyrocketing right now because they are getting bought by private equity firm Madison Dearborn Partners. Cash deal, $1.8 billion. And why this is interesting is because MoneyGram, of course, is a company that helps. It's in a remittance service and helps people send and receive money. But MoneyGram has a deal in place with XLM, supposedly. So Stellar has a deal with MoneyGram to utilize their network and stablecoin to send payments across borders utilizing stablecoins. So I wonder if that's just going to go away because they're getting bought out. Unless Madison Deer Partners is buying MoneyGram just so they could get this, whatever they're working on behind the scenes in terms of cross-border payments using a stablecoin on the Stellar network, unless they're buying for that reason. I don't know. But it's interesting to think about, right? It's interesting to think about. Of course, before this partnership with XLM, Ripple bought a huge chunk of MoneyGram and basically paid them to to use XRP. But then after the lawsuit with SEC, MoneyGram distanced themselves away from Ripple and said, "Oh, we actually haven't been using XRP at all. We were just taking their money." And they ended that partnership. So MoneyGram has been thrown around a couple times. One with Ripple, second with Stellar. Now they're being bought out. So I wonder what the future holds for MoneyGram and Stellar. Maybe it's going to continue on, or maybe it's not. I don't know. Lastly, I did see this. I guess this is pretty big for Intel. They're buying Tower Semiconductor for $5.4 billion. Now, Intel, I've said this yesterday. Intel is no longer the big dog when it comes to semiconductor. Of course, they're not giving up. Intel is working on some super secretive ASIC chip for Bitcoin mining, which is great for Bitcoiners, great for miners, but I don't know if it's going to help their bottom line because they have basically been flat over the last decade while everyone else like AMD and Nvidia has really risen up. So just to prove my point, I brought this up. So this is Bitcoin, right? So I went out basically as far as I could on the weekly scale, going back to 2000, the 2000 .com bubble. Of course, Bitcoin didn't exist back then, but I have AMD over here, bottom right, bottom left, Intel top right, and Nvidia bottom right. And I have this going back to 2000, and I have percentage laid out. So since 2000, Intel is only up 125%. Okay? That's 22 years. 22 years. And you could see that Intel actually peaked even higher back in 2000. So you could argue that Intel is still down after 22 years. That's how flat or bad Intel has been over the last 2 decades. AMD, on the other hand, which really struggled back 22 years ago, they have gone up a staggering 700% since then. Nvidia went from a nobody to a powerhouse. They have gone up 51,000% since 2000 in the last 22 years. But you know what surpassed all of them is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is up, according to this, 380,000%. So despite the up and downs for Bitcoin, it's still up 380,000% from 2010, I think this goes. It doesn't even go all the way back to 2009. If it did, it would be even higher. But my point is this: Intel has been absolutely horrible. I don't know what they've been doing. It's even worse than gold, really, if you look at it. And AMD has been definitely coming up within the last 4 years. It's been really skyrocketing down here, and then Nvidia also over the last 4 years it has gone to the moon and beyond. So this is why I'm so negative on Intel. It's like I don't know what they're doing. Their leadership has just been really, really bad. They basically lost. They lost the space at this point. All right, that's all I have to say, really. Let's see. Let's look at Bitcoin dominance. Came down a little bit. Yesterday it was high as 42.5%. So today altcoins are rallying a little bit harder than Bitcoin. So it's at 42.3%. So it's good. It's good to see everything in green right now. And you could see, Avalanche is up 9% today. So coming really, really, really close to Terra. And Solana's coming back up. Even Cardano. Cardano's moving up 5% today. That's pretty positive. Ethereum up 6%. You have Polygon that's up 9% today. It could crawl above 2 shortly. So it's a good day. It's a good day overall. All right, guys. Let's do some quick Q&A. Scrolling up, Rocky Bobby. Appreciate that. What else? Would you consider making a Georgia NFT Cardano? I can always make it, but I don't want to confuse people. I just put everything on OpenSea right now. But sure, I could consider it if there's if people want it on CNFT. What else is there? Sunburn. I just read your comment. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up with the comments right now. All right. What is it? Russia's withdrawing troops. Morning. All right. Let's see. Siku market opening streams are best. You know, I do enjoy this. It also helps me. It helps me prepare, my next stream at 11:45. Right. It kind of gets my head in the game too, as it forces me to get up earlier and study the market earlier and do this with you guys. But overall, I think, there's a lot of geopolitical and macroeconomic stuff or factors that's playing into everything, right? Into the U.S. market, into crypto, even though crypto is not a U.S.-based thing, but there's definitely a fact there's a lot of money in crypto from the West, let's just say. So, I mean, I think this all ties in. So, trying to connect the dots here. That's what I try to do. I know you don't like charity crypto, but what about Assange DAO? Do you see them as legit? It could be, but not something that I'm paying attention to. Make some I Am George merch. I do. It's right under the super chat, live chat. You should see a bar with all my merchandise, and if you click into it, you'll see even more on CryptosRUs.com. Joe says, use the Solana blockchain for first time yesterday. I was blown away by the speed, way faster than Cardano ETH. Do you think the FUD will go away with innovation? Most people that are using Solana is blown away by the speed, yes, and there's no speed issues with Solana, right? The question is, can they, first of all, make their network more robust so that it doesn't go down? Because they had many issues with their network over the last 6 months where it just shuts down due to a spam attack, do something, right? And even though others like Ethereum and Cardano, they're slow, but their network has never gone down or been frozen or reset like that. So that's a legitimate concern. And number two is Solana is very heavy with VCs. So that's also a concern, especially when things were coming down. I think one of the reasons why they sold off so hard. But if VC money is coming back in, it could definitely drive them back up really hard too. So there's good and bads for everything. You can't just look at speed. There's a lot of chains that's very fast, and it's not just about speed. Thoughts on Algorand? Algorand is doing good things. I like Algorand. I like it. Best way to send money to Vauld to avoid ERC20. I'm sending XLM to swap your USD. I mean, yeah, anything that they take, Polygon, I think their Polygon is ERC20. But anything that, right now, first of all, ERC20 fees is pretty low. I mean, it's actually, I just covered something that talks about how it's the lowest it's been in 6 months. And second of all, yeah, if you could use something else, right, like Stellar or even, Litecoin. The only good use case for Litecoin, I mean, go ahead and use it. VP is saying, by the way, for Intel, you should look at total return inclusive of the 3% annual dividend. Come on. That 3% is nothing. I know if you compound over 22 years is something, but come on. It's still lower than its 2000 peak. Okay? It's actually way lower than its 2000 peak. So that tells you something. Look at it. It's way lower. Intel's way lower. So even if you're getting that 3% per year, but think about the loss versus had you just bought and held something else like AMD or Nvidia or of course Bitcoin, right? Or Tesla, anything, index funds, anything would have outperformed Intel, right? So I don't buy that. I don't buy that. Well, I mean, it's true. It's nothing that I don't buy. I just don't think it's worth it. That's just me. Give Gala a look. I talk about Gala all the time. I think they're one of the leading gaming platforms that's in the crypto world, right? I think they're gonna do very well. Bitcoin is still doing good, 44.4. All right, I'll let you guys go. Bottom line, today we have some really good news. We turned a negative news into good news. PPI number showing demand sky high. This turned out to be good news because people are thinking that this is go taper, meaning that we are near top. So this is actually treated as good news. Russia withdrawing is good news. This is not good news, but it's good news for crypto. It's showing that crypto has a really legitimate and great use case. And so in essence, that's good for crypto. But overall, markets are doing very good. Very good. The money that's sitting on the sidelines is flowing back in, and we're seeing everything in the green right now, and that's what we want, right? We're all feeling better today. So smash it a like, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in a couple hours, 11:45 a.m., where I'll talk more about crypto. All right, have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.